Welcome to Sriram IAS Academy in this Unacademy platform. My name is Lala Ignatius. I've been taking classes for UPSC students for the past 15 years. And my area of interest is that the PSAR along with the polity, governance, IR and internal security. I'm also an author of a book with the Pearson in terms of ecology and governance and polity with the unique publication. And today I'm going to start the process, the Western political thought. So when you're looking into the idea of Western political thought, we know very well the way how the political thought process originate from the thinkers like Plato and continued with the various way of his disciple Aristotle and etc. etc. and will go till the modern thinkers. So while considering this particular line of thought process, generally people will go the person like Socrates. From the influence of Socrates, Plato gave various ideas. Even in his book, Plato completely discusses about the conversation between two individuals and various characters and all. So in this way, when I'm going to look into the next person, like the person will be considered by the political people as the father of political science. The way how we are calling Aristotle as a father of political science and Plato as a father of political philosophy and various other thinkers, Locke as the father of all political philosophers and all. So based on this, I thought of discussing a person like Aristotle, who is very much relevant to the modernity and the current political scenario. So based on that, when you are going to look into the concept of Aristotle and his various thought process and other intellectual capability of him on the basis of the concept he created in this modern world, and still it is very relevant to the contemporary world and all. So in this way, the first part, when I'm going to look into this idea, why we need to consider Aristotle as a father of political science, because we know very well the way how Aristotle as a person who is giving ultimate importance to the knowledge of the rule of law as well as constitutionalism. So based on that, we are not only calling him as a father of political science and also father of constitutionalism and the rule of law. So this is a very important thing on the basis of the way how Aristotle explain about the idea of law. The law is the one which always considered for the concept of reason without passion. So law is always considered as a reason without passion. And we're going to discuss about the ideas of constitutionalism and rule of law. We know very well the rule of law is a kind of idea is primarily giving some kind of limitation upon the executives, those are in power, should not have unlimited powers. So to put some kind of restriction upon their movement and utilization of power, authority, hegemony, legitimacy, we need to use the concept of rule of law. So the based on this particular idea, the way how the executives are going to function not on their own way, without any hindrance, without any some kind of hurdles. If I'm giving ultimate power to them, then they will become autocrat. Anarchy is a kind of idea. So in order to limit those people, the father of political science, Mr. Aristotle, who want to talk about the idea of rule of law on the basis of that, the principles of constitutionalism. When we are discussing about the constitutionalism, we know very well the country which is having the constitution provision, then automatically it can able to say that there is a limitation the country can able to give up on the government through rule of law. Based on that, the constitutionalism is idea come into force. And before going to continue, I thought of introducing about this idea, the way how the everyone knows that right now Unacademy and Sriram IAS Academy, and for we can able to utilize the opportunity of Sriram IAS Academy's online and offline facilities to the Unacademy people in their doorsteps. And already the batch also started from 8th June, and various other courses like sociology, public administration, economy, and history. And right now I am taking also PSIR. So like this manner, there are various courses and other things that are happening. So you can able to use this link if who are the people who want to utilize this opportunity of associating with Unacademy and Sriram. Use this link for GS batch and various optional paper. You can able to use it for the other things. So I'm coming back to the concept. Why he considered as a father of political science. He is the father of political science and he will be, and he was, the way how the political thinkers are giving him. Because when I'm comparing the concept of Aristotle with the concept of Plato, the way how Plato gives some ultimate importance to the value system on the basis of normative principle, generally people will call him the father of political philosophy. And being a student of Aristotle, sorry, Plato, and being a most strongest critics of Plato, the way how Aristotle made himself in a different way comparing with the Plato, by the way he gave ultimate importance to, instead of normative, he gave importance to the concept of the scientific method, the empirical knowledge inside the area of political science. On the basis of that, he want to go for an experimental way of analyzing the concept of political science rather than the utopian way, or rather than the value based methodology, rather than the normative approach a person can able. So in this aspect, when I want to look into the idea of Plato and Aristotle, I can able to say Plato through his concept of republic or his book Republic, he want to talks about not only politics, there are various other aspects and element also he discussed. So his thought process is a kind of encyclopedia, the way how he discuss about the various ideas. When I'm going to look into the concept of Aristotle, he very specifically talks about the concept of theory of state and constitution in terms of politics. So in this way, the way how Mr. Aristotle, who wanted to give much importance to the principles of the ideas of rule of law or various concepts like deliberative democracy or some more things in the name of political science, and the way how the thinkers of political science from different point of view and different space and different time and all, on the basis of that the influence of Aristotle even till today properly existing in various places. For example, when I'm seeing his contemporary time, there are a lot of other thinkers, but in medieval time I can able to say that Thomas Aquinas and the person like Locke, the father of all political philosopher, like that he will be considered as a modern time person who influenced with the knowledge of Aristotle. And very recently the Hannah Arendt in 20th century also completely influenced with the knowledge of Aristotle. So based on this tradition only, people are considering him as one of the greatest personality in political. And he is also the greatest student of disciple of Plato, as well as the critics of Plato. So when the way how he want to discuss, some people may say that he is the greatest critics of Plato, but in reality, he want to do some kind of reformation in the idea of his political master like Plato. He don't want to completely defeat the thought process and not want to find the defects of thought process in Plato. He just want to reform the idea which become obsolete or outdated from the time of Aristotle into the time of Plato. He just reformed those ideas. So in this way, he people will call him Aristotle as a father of, or otherwise a reformed Plato as a kind of things. So now, as a beginning of the concept like the theories of Aristotle, first you need to know the comparison of Aristotle and Plato and the differences of Aristotle and Plato. Then, if I'm going to discuss about various theories of Plato, you will have a clear understanding. So, based on this particular principle, when I'm going to look into the similarities between the areas like Aristotle and Plato, both, there is no doubt in that when both Aristotle and Plato belongs to the area of Socratic tradition and completely against the principles of sophist tradition who gave ultimate importance to the materialism, and Socratic tradition gave importance to the ideas of value based methods. So in this way, both belongs, Aristotle and Plato belong to the Socratic tradition, and automatically once he become a Socratic, he will be the critics to the sophist methods. I will explain about sophist in various places and various places. And the way how both the thinkers like Plato and Aristotle gave ultimatum towards the idea of state over individual. when the concept regarding who is important, in what way they are important, the primacy is the idea. When I want to give primacy to the state over individual, on the basis of that, people will have some kind of idea that the way how the existence of state within a society is the most important thing. On the basis of that, the continuation of the human life and other various good life we can able to provide it to the human life and all is a kind of idea both Aristotle and Plato gave to this. And both believed in the ideas of natural inequalities. Because when I'm going to look into the concept of inequalities at the time of Plato and Aristotle, the way how Aristotle in his writings in that book, Politics, he very scientifically accepted the concept of slavery. He never thought that slavery is a kind of inequality, but he accepted the concept of slavery. But when I'm going to look into the concept of Plato, he openly never said anything in favor of inequality or the concept like slavery and all. But in reality, the way how Plato want to give some comparison with the male and female in terms of equality rather than inequality, in that particular nature, we can able to call Plato as a feminist, the most foremost, oldest feminist, or the first feminist in the modern world. And in terms of inequality, both supported the natural inequality. That is an idea. They supported the natural inequality. So, in this manner, Aristotle supported slavery, and Plato was against the principles of inequality among male and female. So, in this manner, when I want to look into the concept of the property, so when they both decided to equate the property with the idea of ignorance, that is why they always say the law of ignorance. That all we are going to explain in later part. And both the people are having commonness in one place, that masses are nothing. You can't able to keep your faith upon the people, mass at the bottom of the society. So the bottom of the society is not much important. The superstructure of the societies are more important. On the basis of this idea, Plato and Aristotle gave ultimate importance to the ruling class at the top rather than the people at the bottom of the society. Based on that, I can able to say they both lack faith in the masses, the people at the bottom. And the way how they try to understand about the city-state concept of Greek society inside Athens and Spartans and all. They identified the instability is the most important problem in Greek society. And there was a major problem. On the basis of that, the based on the idea of instability, it was a main reason that the moral anarchy is the responsible. On the basis of moral anarchy only, the concept of instability. So both are interconnected. The instability and the formation of the moral anarchy. On the basis of that, the Greek society is having lot of difficulties and issues while discussing about the idea of government and governance. But apart from this, the way how Aristotle and Plato accepted certain things, the importance of education is a core important idea, not only for the rulers. Education is very necessary not only for the ruler but also the citizen of the place, the locality, the places where they are governing the rulers. All those things people also need. Bottom of the society also need education. The superstructure also, rulers also need education. So based on that, both wanted to pass the manual labor to the ideas of slaves. So in this way, I can able to see some kind of consideration in the name of similarities between the thought process of Aristotle and Plato. But when I'm going to look into the dissimilar, the differences, the conflicting nature of Plato and Aristotle thought process, the way how Plato acted like an idealist. So he want to go for the perfect state, utopian principle. There, the idealism is a kind of idea nowhere possible in practicality, but the way how Aristotle want to go for the realistic principle as a combination of idealism Based on that, he came for the conclusion that the pragmatism is the best method in society. On the basis of that, a pragmatic state are possible, idealistic state is impossible. So, based on that, Plato's idea of state is an idealistic utopian concept. Aristotle's idea of state is a pragmatic one based on the situation. Sometime idealism, sometime realism will exist inside him. So in this way, when I'm going to see, Plato always believes idealism. So he went for the perfection, and perfection is impossible in the modern society or old or ancient. It is completely a utopian principle. No one can be a perfect one. On the basis of that, Aristotle, instead of going for perfection in an ideal state, he want to go for the golden mean in middle of the idealism, in the perfection, or in the middle of the realism, or into the nature of realistic principle. He want to go for the middle way. By the golden mean, he want to consider not too much of idealism, not too much of realism. The middle path will consider as the golden mean into the nature of the utopia. And apart from this, the way how Plato want to go into the concept of ultimate knowledge in his life. When you are going to take decision making on the basis of ultimate knowledge. But Plato understood that ultimate knowledge is an impossible idea, being an utopian principle. But in reality, the common sense of every individual. So based on that, the common sense is the most common idea. So we can able to go for any ruler those are existing in a superficial stage. They can use the common sense. On the basis of that, they need to have the worldwide knowledge throughout the world. What is happening? What will happen? What was? What can? And all those kind of idea, the ruler can able to assess with the past experience and contemporary situation. It is not necessary that the ruler need to have the world of ideas. They need to have the worldly knowledge throughout the world thoroughly into the manner. In this manner, the Aristotle want to use the idea of common sense and Plato want to go for ultimate knowledge. But ultimate knowledge is a impossible principles. So in this way, when I'm going to look into the concept of the theories of Aristotle, the first and foremost important thing, since we talked about the ultimate and common sense knowledge, the theories of idea or theory of form knowledge. So the way how Aristotle want to go for the theories of knowledge or idea or format, comparing with the Plato. Plato's concept of knowledge, ideas or form, I can able to say knowledge in a simple manner. So his ideas completely exist on the basis of the independent nature of this world and independent of matters and all. But when I'm going to look into Aristotle's point of view, you can't able to make anything outside the world. Everything is within the world. So the concept like idea is not, the knowledge is not independent of matter. It is within the matter only. So you can't able to take anything outside. Every knowledge which is existing is a collection of idea, collection of experience within a society. So there will be a dependent nature of matter and knowledge, matter and idea. So you can't able to separate the matter with the current situation and all. So this is a way he totally contradicting with the idea of Plato. So based on that, the way how he want to completely enter into the area of the physical world as well as some kind of other imaginary world. So the way how the physical world, we can't able to ignore the physical world that is properly existing. And the way how we cannot able to ignore the physical world by the way of considering the illusion as a most important concept. So if you want to really want to know what is correct and what is wrong, what is right and what is wrong. So we don't need a socialized knowledge, but we need a common sense to understand about the situation. So specialized knowledge can able to help in particular area. But when I'm going for the commonness of the society, commonness of ideas and format, the most important thing is that the illusion is no longer the way how we can able to understand the basic thing. On the basis of that, you can able to go for what is right and what is wrong, what is correct and what is wrong, something like that. A common sense rather than special knowledge. So based on this particular idea, I can able to say people at the time of Plato was considering him as a father of political philosophy because the way how he established the real world concept. The real world, as per the knowledge of Plato, is a consideration of the world of ideas and philosophy. That is a concept. It is simply the world of ideas and philosophy, I can able to say. And this world of ideas and philosophy is a kind of things is on the basis of the source of knowledge in an ultimate form. So real world I can able to complete, I can able to divide this category into two way. The real world is come under the category of world of ideas, and the philosophy is the kind of things will come under the category of the ultimate source of knowledge. So based on that, people will also say the Plato as a person who gave much importance to the value system which exists inside the society of Athens and Sparta rather than the empirical knowledge and all. So he was considered by people as a father of political philosophy rather than the political science. But people will consider Aristotle as a father of political science because his approaches are on the basis of practical things, the way how he gave importance to the ideas of the world matter on the basis of the ideas available in this world, the matter of the world along with the principles of the ideas of the world of ideas and the world of matter. So based on that, he want to prove things in a practical manner, not into the basis of normative methods, rather than going for the scientific methods and empirical utilization. And based on the experimental things, Aristotle want to go for his own empirical based ideology. So based on that, people consider him as a father of political science rather than political philosophy. So in this way, when I'm going to consider the theories of state and all, so the foremost, after the learning the process of theories of knowledge, when I'm going to enter into the theories of state, man will be considered by Plato, Aristotle, being a political science as a political animal. And people like sociologists like Auguste Comte and all will say man is a social animal. So when I'm going to look into this perspective, the way how the concept of state usually exists inside the society. The state as a concept is there for the sake of life only, and the sake of good life they want to give to every individual within a society. Based on that, the existence of the state is an idea will come into. And when I'm going to consider what is state, I can able to say it is the highest type of all type of association. In a society, we can able to say lot of associations are existing, and state is the highest of all type of association. So one person can able to say, I don't need state. I can able to stay all alone. I don't want any state. And people will say either he may be a godly personality or he is a ghost kind of personality. Only two people can able to say, I don't need state. Remaining all will say, we need the association of state. So based on this, so the way how he came for this analysis of the process of state on the basis of the need of an individual. Every individuals are having some need. Need is a necessary criteria. Based on the necessary criteria, the association between every individuals are going to fulfill. Once this association between individuals are satisfied, then we need to go for association with outside the area. On the basis of that, the state will come into play a very vital role among the peoples. So based on that, when I'm going to look into the nature, the way how the nature made him man, not as a self-sufficient personality. Even when the human beings are going to fulfill their basic need, they need somebody's. So first, in the name of association of family for fulfilling their basic needs and their continuation and existence, but the family as an association is not going to completely fulfill the need of individuals. So we need to go for further interactions. So we need to have a village. Then we need to have a cluster of village. Then we need to have a proper idea of city state kind of things. On the basis of that only, you can able to identify the way how the concept regarding the association of individual as well as the state is going to come. So this is the concept like the way how the state is a union of lot of families and villages. So once the union come into force, there, the formation of state on the basis of the fulfillment of all the need of families and villages, the creation of the highest form of association in the name of state. So based on this idea only, that the Aristotle kind of persons are saying that state is always prior to every individual inside the society. But in historical perspective and scientific perspective, when I'm going to look into the historical perspective of state, state always comes after the existence of human beings. Human beings first came individually, then they formed an association, and the society came into exist. And when the values and norms of every practices of every individual is going to recognized by the state, society, and those recognized societal norms, values, customs, then forward to the kind of idea of state, then state approved those norms and values that become law. So this is the way only we need to go for the association of individual first, formation of society, then formation of state and all, then formation of law, etc., etc., etc. But when I'm going to look into the idea of logical perspective, the historical approach will say that okay, state is always the man is always prior to state. But the logical point of view, I can able to say that the idea of man is always behind the formation of state. State always comes first before the ideas of man. Because when you are going to consider the concept like the fullness as well as part of the society. So ideas of state, fullness, and man will come under the part of the society. On the basis of that, the state will always come before individual. The way how we can able to give a simple example, Aristotle also saying that the way how the human body, we are having fingers, we are having hand, we are having foot, we are having leg, and all those kind of things. These are all part of the body and whole body. When the hand or foot is going to remove from the body, automatically the body itself will lose the significance. So it is vice versa. On the basis of that, when a man is removed from the state, automatically he will also lose his identity. So it is very, very necessary. The essential nature of human being interconnected on the basis of the political essentiality of human being. So based on that, Aristotle want to call human being, man, as a political animal. But there are a lot of other animals also existing in a state, within a society and all. They also lives in a society and groups and etc. etc. But the way how the formation of other human, other animal and all going to happen, in that perspective, people will consider him, or sociologists will consider him, man as a social animal. But in terms of political perspective, the essentiality of politics, the way how existing with the formation of state and the society and law making process and all, on the basis of that, we will consider Aristotle, or we will consider a man as a political animal from the point of view of Aristotle. So based on that, when I want to look into the formation of state from the perspective of Aristotle, he want to go for the natural type of institution as state and moral type of institution as state. So state will have both moral institution as well as natural institution. So based on this particular idea, the moral value system as well as the natural value system, based on that, the man's life is always interconnected with the state. It is inseparable concept. The every individual's life always, in terms of percentage wise, more connected with the perspective of state and interaction of state and all. Every day-to-day life of every individuals are going to connect it with the idea of state. So you can't able to separate yourself from the concept of state. So in this manner, Aristotle also started thinking that the concept of destiny, so the way how the person is living within a society under the state and all, is a destiny of every individual inside the human. So the way how the destiny is that it is a destiny of human being to live under the state. So in this way, when I'm going to look into the idea of the particular concept of the theoretical part of the concept so far I discussed in the name of theories of state. So how I am going to go for a critical evaluation of the ideas of state. So the way how Aristotle is saying that the way concept regarding state and all, natural, and it is a necessary remainings of the matter. So on the basis of that, some kind of debate is happening among the various political thought process and school of philosophers and principles and etc. etc. So on the basis of that, I can able to go for the way how the idealist and the liberalist. Idealists are saying that state is a necessary thing. And liberalists are saying that they always believes that state is not a necessary, but state is considered as a necessary evil. They are accepting it as a evil. But anarchists are taking the rightest concept that there is no need of state. So based on that anarchists, they want to make state is an unnecessary matter. So state is a necessary from liberals point of view, idealistic point of view. State is a necessary evil from liberalistic point of view. And state is totally unnecessary from anarchist point of view. So this is the way only generally there will be a classification for the idea of state. So even further when I'm continuing the process of concept of state in terms of Aristotle's point of view, from the time of Aristotle and his contemporaries, don't have much distinction in terms of political life, social life, and other various life of individuals. So on the basis of that, he gave ultimate importance to the position to the state only, rather than giving other various things related to other various ideas. But in today, the complex and contemporary world are clearly saying that we can't able to keep the ideas of state in common way. That's the most necessary point. So it is a very necessary thing is that in modern times, the political life of citizens are totally different and social life of political people are totally different. There is no complement, there is no the continuation of the political and social process for a human being. There is always a separate concept of political nature is different and social lives are different. So this is the way you have to, but during the time of Aristotle, to not much distinction in terms of what is political life, what is social life. Even when I'm considering man, they will say that man is a social animal or political animal. So he is an animal. In this manner, generally people can able to go for the consideration. So this is the overall idea we can able to make when I'm considering the concept of the ideas like Plato, Aristotle's principle, and there is a comparison between Aristotle as well as Plato for the better understanding. So based on this comparison only, you can able to go for the better ideas. So in coming classes also in demos also, I am planning to continue this series. The concept regarding what we can say that Aristotle and Plato's and other various political principle in terms of sequences all. So before going to end this session, I thought of discussing about this idea that the way how the foundation batch very recently on 8th June onwards we have started. So based on that, these are the various eminent personality into the area of the foundational things from starting from Sriram sir to the every eminent faculties are existing in this group. On the basis of that, we are planning for a 1 year mission mode preparation for 2024 prelims mains, and it will be the combination of everything. So till the interview stage and all, even other various level of introduction of the subject and knowledge will be given to the students. Based on that, you can also able to get some kind of benefit. Okay, so based on that, we can able to continue the process regarding Aristotle as well as his theories of state and citizens and all and other various principles in the coming classes and all. Okay, we'll continue in the next class. Thank you all.